Hello, most honourable members of the General Assembly. I have here the speech presented to my most honourable members of the General Assembly and House of Lords on behalf of my government. Honourable members of the General Assembly, in 2025, my government will lead in service of our people and their best interests. Progress, community commitment, and advocacy will be the highest priorities of my government's legislative and policy programme. Whether that may be in committing to build up Cycoldia into a lively and engaging community, to progress in building up the Imperium as a commonwealth of nations that shares values, cultures, and traditions, and finally, using our collective voice as a nation of over 380 citizens to advocate for democracy and human rights, not only in the micronational community, but in the world. In 2025, my government will set out to propose the first national budget of the Grand Republic of Cycoldia. This budget will be the foundational cornerstone of a financial transparency and accountability for all future governments to follow. Although this budget will not include any discretionary spending, my government will ensure that it will provide the mandatory and essential funding needed to support the most fundamental part of a democracy, our general elections, and allow people to have their say in the needed affairs of my government. In 2025, my government continue to build up on its work to revitalize Cycoldia into a thriving and welcoming, inclusive community where citizens, existing and new, are able to participate and invoke political and economic change. Furthermore, by aiming to build up our understaffed civil servants, my government will channel its work in building up our community by giving our fellow citizens the opportunity to gain valuable experience in public service. In 2025, my government is committed to investing real time and effort into uplifting all existing and future states of the Imperium and making the Commonwealth a true beacon and example of genuine micronational cooperation based on shared values, principles, and respect for democracy and human rights. Furthermore, my government will commit to hard-working goals with the governments of the Imperium member states to achieve this. In 2025, my government will commit to a principled foreign policy that seeks to build partnerships and friendships with nations who share our strong commitments to democracy, human rights, and advocacy against discrimination, oppression, and xenophobia across the world. Additionally, my government will continue to strengthen our cooperation with our EACO partners in order to encourage more peaceful and diplomatic dialogue between members of the micronational community. In 2025, my government will as well propose the Cycoldian Broadcasting Public Service Act of 2025. This act will create a publicly owned service whose sole mission will be to provide citizens with more knowledge and insight into the affairs of our government. Additionally, my government will be absolutely committed to making sure that this act ensures the Cycoldian Public Broadcasting Service will forever be a non-partisan and independent body to maintain its ability to provide the news impartially to the public. In 2025, my government will open a government inquest that shall be headed by the General Assembly Committee on the House of Lords. This inquest will explore the ways to reform the Lords into a more effective and functional body. Through this, my government will fix the House of Lords to function as a proper subservient body to the General Assembly, rather than its current status. In 2025, my government will continue its dedicated commitment to building the first educational institution. This commitment and effort will be channeled through the recently founded OWL Commission in the form of the Cycoldian Online University. The Cycoldian Online University will lead the mission in aiding Cycoldians to find new skills and develop existing ones, in order to assist them in their talents to take advantage of the ever-growing opportunity in this world. Finally, in 2025, my government will continue its commitment to the efforts established at Cycoldia as a leading space for entrepreneurial growth and innovation within the micronational community. By expanding communication with business leaders and efforts to establish Cycoldia as a leading space for entrepreneurial growth and innovation within the micronational community, my government will ensure that Cycoldia will become a competitive market that provides innovation, entrepreneurship, and real economic growth. Additionally, my government will establish a new Ministry of Labour and Commerce to lead with these ambitious and yet important actions. By assisting businesses in involving more Cycoldians into enterprises, building more micronational connections, and ensuring that the rights of workers are protected, the Ministry of Labour and Commerce will be the biggest symbol of Cycoldia's commitment to real and economic growth and opportunity for all citizens. I thank the honourable members of the General Assembly and the public who have attended this meeting, and I hereby now open it to other members of the General Assembly who may request to speak.